blow. This is less about how to play songs and more about kind of how to approach them, sort of mentally, intellectually, emotionally, if we need to add that. Let me read through this. Don't worry about playing perfect single notes if you're just getting started playing songs. And I do recommend when you get started, you just play with the harmonica a bit, click around the website, look at stuff, just play around for a few days or a week before you get serious with techniques and, memorizing stuff. But, you take a major scale, you take Oh Susanna, Mary Had a Little Lamb, any kind of simple kids song. But if you're just getting started, don't worry about playing perfect single notes, because you need to just kind of learn some songs too and get a feeling of how to blow, how to draw, that is, how to exhale, how to inhale, how to get the feel of the harmonica in your mouth and making sounds with it. So don't obsess, don't get too crazy about the single notes in the beginning. As you get to maybe week 4, 5, 6, 8, somewhere in there, you want to start being a little bit more particular about your single notes. And then you may have to back off with your songs a little bit, or your scales or riffs, and try to just go to 4 blow, 4 draw, want to get some perfect single notes. Not, but so let me finish the tip here. The first thing you want to do is just really have some funds playing some songs. Have some fun playing some songs. We'll put the S on the correct word there. Try to commit them to memory. It's always best if you say, oh, well, I just don't seem to have much feel when I play. First thing you got to do is memorize whatever it is you're doing. Get it in your head so you can hum, sing, or whistle it. And take your simple song. Let's take Mary Had a Little Lamb. Play through it a few times. Look at the notes on the screen. Look at the notes. Play through it maybe 3, 4, 5 times. Remember the starting note. Look away and do your best to just figure it out. You can always go back and check the answers. This will not only help you memorize it, it will make your ear better. Okay, we just talked about that recently in one of the classes we had. Then, once you get the form of the song, listen, if you're trying to play Mary Had a Little Lamb, it's a little sloppy, let's say, no single notes. But if you can play that, and you go, well, I'd like to do it with single notes, but I'm not quite there yet. But if you can play it for a friend or family member, and they go, that sounds like Mary Had a Little Lamb, boom, you did it. You're successful. At this stage, you're successful. You want to go back later and work on the single notes and then apply them. But you don't want to necessarily try and do everything all at once. It gets a little frustrating, and sometimes people, after just a month or two of playing, will quit because they can't get good. And sometimes they can't get good because they don't have somebody like me in person staying there going, stop trying to do too much at once. Have some fun, just play around, and little by little work on things. And then it's not so frustrating. So once you've got it memorized, and once you feel comfortable with it, then go back and slowly work on it with your single notes. After that, you can incorporate other techniques. The hand effects, slides, chording. We just talked about chording. So it will all come, but one piece at a time. It's a jigsaw puzzle. You can't put the whole thing together at once. It's one piece at a time. Start with the corners and the edges and, work your way to the center. All right, let's get to our last one. And this was the one that I talked about, or I demoed in the very beginning, so I'll actually put this back on. This is a simple second position set of notes to begin jamming with. Second position, again, without going into a lot of detail here, is playing mostly inhale, draw notes at the low end of the harmonica on any standard 10-hole diatonic harmonica. Not a chromatic harmonica, diatonic harmonica, 10-hole. This guy, the small ones. Okay, Hohner, Lee Oscar, Suzuki, whatever it happens to be, standard 10-hole diatonic. When you mostly do draw notes at the low end, you're actually playing notes that make a chord that is not the key of the harmonica. And again, I don't want to get too deep into this, but on a C, standard C diatonic, you've got, let me see. Here's one thing I really like about Lee Oscars for beginners. And that is, with a Lee Oscar diatonic harmonica, you will notice, see that? Let's see if I can get that so the camera sees it okay. It says first C. That means if you're mostly blowing the middle part of the harmonica, you're in the key of C. Then on the other end, it says second G. So it tells you what first and second position keys are. First position, easy, always the key of the harmonica. Second position is where you're doing draw notes at the low end. It's a little different. So now, I got the Lee Oscar in my hand. Let's just keep it here. So what you're going to do is memorize this particular collection of notes. 3 blow, 3 draw, 4 blow, 4 draw, 5 draw, and 6 blow. And it sounds like 3, 4. Sorry, wrong starting note. 2, 3, 4. Coming down. 3, 4. Don't worry about perfect single notes, just like we're talking about with songs. You just... So, I want to show you. That's 3 blow. I'm going to talk about what you can substitute 3 blow with in just a second. And actually, let me just quickly, hold on here. Let me get this straightened out. All right. Oh, this guy's got to be a little closer. These things are great. These neck racks are great for examples and teaching, but a little awkward sometimes. But, you know, it is what it is. You get used to it. All right. 3 blow, and let me just read this quickly. Use any or all of these notes to create your own riffs for jamming. Avoid starting on hole 4 blow. I won't go deep into that. Just don't do it right now. It will sound good if you end your riffs on either the 3 blow or 6 blow for resolution. That means coming back to your key note, whatever key you're in. If I'm in the key of C, I come back to C. If I'm in the key of G, I'll come back to a G. If I'm in the key of B flat, I want to resolve by coming back to the B flat note after I play my song or melody. Repeat your idea, whatever little riff or collection of notes you come up with, 2 or 3 times to create kind of a melodic feel. Repetition makes it sound more melodic. Initially, don't worry about any additional techniques. Again, don't worry about hand stuff, bending, any of that stuff. We'll add those later. Don't worry about perfect single notes because chords and a little sloppiness will sound just fine in the beginning. Also, it says here, I'm reading, take a look at our When in Doubt section, which is some real sort of basic tips for getting started jamming, and very good ones. And you can just come to this page, come to the beginner shortcut page, and just click on the link. So I'm going to use 3 blow, but I will mention now that if you can play 2 draw instead of 3 blow, they are the exact same note on every standard 10-hole diatonic. 2 draw, 3 blow, same note. 3 blow is easier to play, and it's great for beginners, but for you intermediate and advanced players out there, or people that really want to progress, if If you can play 2 draw okay, use that instead, because 2 draw, 3 blow, 2 draw. The advantage of the draw notes at the low end is we can bend them. So we can, even though 2 draw and 3 blow are the same note, I can't bend 3 blow. I can bend 2. And that's a proper blues scale. And what this collection of notes is that I call it an almost blues scale. So here we go. Let me give you a quick demo of it, just like the beginning. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm going to 6th blow. Notice I repeated the same thing. Now I'm going to do another one, up 2. See how I sped up a little bit there just to make it more interesting. So the first thing, as I mentioned before, I'm going to take this off, get this out of my face. As I mentioned before, you want to get the feel of the notes, and before you start to obsess about, oh, I want to get perfect single notes and all that. But just take your time with this stuff. These will work great. And again, if you can play 2 draw instead of 3 blow, I recommend you do that. And if you can't, don't. Just play 3 blow. But again, this is called what I refer to as the almost blues scale, and is discussed in much, much greater detail in a class video we have, a full-length class video. And also you go to the improv jamming section, go to blues and beginner stuff, and there's the almost blues scale. And I've also even broken it down into some particular little riffs that you can memorize, like little short segments of songs, and you can repeat those. So you should have, if you play with this stuff, don't take it too seriously. Just play a little bit every day. 15 minutes is a great time. Do it every day, commit, and do this for a month or 2. You'll make great, great progress. So